Fantastic. Amanda, I know you got some questions.
I sure do. So what detector are you using now?
Right now I've been, ironically enough, borrowing my dad's Manicore. He got a Manicore for his birthday.
Wow.
And yeah, he used it a couple times. He was still kind of trying to learn it. And I was like, I'm in between machines. I was using an Equinox 800, but I'm uncertain if I want to get a Manicore or not. So I've been kind of messing around with his, and I like it. It's a good machine.
Cool.
Well,
wow.
Good.
Well, good luck to you on all that. And so in the meantime, during all this COVID and stuff, you said you kind of got hooked on dump digging. Tell us how that all came about.
Yeah, like I said, my friend Tyler, who's also in the Copper Poppers, he had a friend that knew about an old town dump. And town dumps are typically if it went pre-1900, the town, they have somewhere in a gully somewhere a big town dump. They didn't have garbage men back then, so they had to find some hillside to dump them over. And, it ended up being this massive, massive dump that goes anywhere from like 5 feet to like 15 feet. And right at the bottom, it goes to about 1880, 1890s. So it's a pretty good age to dig. Just a lot of work to get down there.
Right. I can imagine. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I've been down there pretty deep as far as dump digging goes. Now, privy digging is a whole nother beast in itself. Yeah.
Right.
They're tough to find, but if you can find them and dig them, that's typically where you get some of the really good stuff. So they are a blast to dig.
So tell us about your first find, maybe at one of these dumps that really got you hooked.
Yeah, it was actually a little medicine bottle, and what always interested me was all the the quack medicines that were just so bizarre and had the most ridiculous ingredients, and it just blows my mind that people actually took that stuff and the trial and error that they had to go through to, I guess, find what we use now. The one bottle that I found, it was Healy and Bigelow's Indian Cure from Kickapoo. And I thought that was just the coolest little name and bottle and stuff. Indian
I love it.
Cough cure. Yeah, it was so cool. And then a part of the hobby of detecting and bottle digging, the fun of it is finding it, but then I think the even better part is doing the research and finding out what it is and getting to learn about it. That's what's really cool. So yeah, that's like getting all the different town meds and stuff. That's what really got me hooked too. You find thousands and thousands and thousands of broken bottles, and you'll find some shards of maybe a town soda or a town med, and it exists. So the mission is to find a whole one. So you just got to dig and dig and dig till you find it. And then once you do, it's just there's really nothing better, no better satisfaction. You were talking about hutches, and I found some town hutches in that dump, and it took me about 3 years to find one.
Oh, wow.
Literal tons of dirt thrown. But I eventually did get one, and it is one of my prized possessions. It's so cool.
Which one is it? What is it?
So it's a Thomas Robinson from McDonald, PA, which is just a small little town in Pennsylvania. And
wow.
Yeah, really, really just a
That
small.
must be a rare one then, because when it comes from the smaller towns, usually it's a smaller bottling company, isn't it? So it seems to be a little more rare.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I actually found 2 hutches from the McDonald area, and one of them was that the town is so small, and these hutches are so rare. It's actually unlisted in the hutch book.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is pretty awesome. Yeah, I was really pumped.
I bet. That's fantastic. Wow.
That's almost as better as like the find. It's like the find. The find is amazing, but when you find out it's actually not listed, it's like,
yeah, it becomes holy grail status.
Yep, absolutely.
It totally does. And I know, Amanda, have you found a hutch yet? I can't remember.
Parts.
Oh. Yeah, me too. Just parts.
Yeah.
I remember the first. Go ahead.
I had found same. I had found so many pieces of them, and then finally finding a whole one was like the best feeling ever.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the first part of one that I found. It was almost whole, but it wasn't. It had a big chunk of it out. But I found it by sheer accident because I was metal detecting a property that had been torn down in Galveston, and I was over there detecting where the old foundation used to be, and I hit the metal piece that goes in the neck. And so I found that one. And
wow.
I didn't know what I had at the time until I researched it. And this was many years ago. This is probably 20 years ago. And ever since then, I've dug so many dumps, but a lot of our dumps aren't quite as old as you are and Amanda is. But Amanda and I have had some fun bottle digging adventures in Maine a couple of years ago that we caught on video. It's on my YouTube channel. But for me, was my first ginger bottle. That was pretty cool.
Was it a stoneware ginger beer?
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool. I've yet to find one.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I collect stoneware beers from a certain pottery. It's a local pottery to me. It's called Sherwood Brothers from New Brighton, PA. And they have hundreds of different stoneware beers, and I have yet to find one. It's like one of the top bucket list items.
Well, Amanda was kind enough to let me hone in on one of her little dumps where they were dumping from a property, a really, really old property, to this other guy's property. So they were taking a ton of dirt and dumping it on this other guy's land because he wanted fill dirt on top to build this land up. And he was kind enough to let and then I go over there.
I had permission. I had permission at the old site. I watched.
She had permission at both. Yeah.
So I was like, where are you taking that dirt? And then he was like, oh, my property.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I come to your property? And he's like, absolutely. And I'm like, perfect.
She was finding old pipe stems and some really amazing coins and stuff. And so, yeah, that was a fabulous time. We got 2 videos out of that, I think.
It was a good time. We have those privies up here too. We'll have to maybe swap, and your family bring them on up to Maine for a weekend in vacation land, and you can. I have permission on a whole bunch of places that I know have privies, and I've got the what is it called? The T bar.
The probe.
Yes, I've got the probe. I haven't made time. It's too many hobbies.
I hear you.
Well,
it's pretty tough to find them.
I bet. Yeah. Can you tell us more about finding privies? We've got a lot of bottle dump diggers on here, and we have had some really good privy diggers. But can you tell us more how you got into privy digging? And more about that process as well.
So if you check out our videos, a lot of the privies that I dig are with a guy we've coined. His name is the Homeless Man, and he is a very good friend of mine and a bottle guru. And he's really been kind of taking me under his wing and showing me the ropes and everything. And I've found out that privy finding is an art, and it is very difficult to find them if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice and patience and strength. So yeah, it's not easy, but if you can find them, you can find some amazing stuff. I've gotten, I mean, as close as it is to an archaeological dig as being in a privy, it's just a mini time capsule. And if you can get into if you can get into the early ones, it is so fun. Like, I'm getting chills just talking about it.
Oh, wow. Well,
we
tell
got
us about one of your favorite finds from one of your privies.
Yeah, I'll tell you about the last
or story.
Good privy that we got into this year.
Okay.
We got into a privy behind an old hotel, like stagecoach stop, and it was, of course, there was a 4-foot tree growing out of the direct middle of the privy.
Oh, jeez.
And the homeowner was super sweet. She was like, "Have at it. I don't care about that tree. Do what you need to do." So we had to go down from one side, and luckily the roots, like, there was a little opening that we could get into, so we were able to get up underneath into there. But the pit ended up being from 1850s till about 1880s at the newest, at kind of like the top. And we found some really cool stuff. We found pawn old Master Ink bottles. We found some. We didn't get a complete historical flask, but some broken historical flasks were in there. We got some. What else did we get out of there? Pawn old Dr. James, I think it was. Just finding complete bottles from that era is just amazing to me. It does not happen often, for me at least. So,
well,
yeah,
I can feel Amanda's wheels turning there. She's drooling over all this a second.
It is so fun. It is so fun. You never know what you're going to get into, and it's, like I said, just a mini time capsule, and you get to learn a lot about the people that lived in that house.
Oh yeah.
We find, if we can find something that has a name on it that ties it to it, that's incredible. But getting to see the actual, trash that they used, and the hairbrushes and the perfumes, and everything, so cool.
So how do you think it all ends up in these privies? Do you think that they accidentally drop it down in there? Did they just over time, like, oh, that's our trash dump, we'll dump it in there? Do you think it's various reasons? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a combination. Like I said, they didn't have trash men. So when they had, a bucket or something that needed to be emptied, hey, kid, take this to the back and run it down there, and the kid just throws it, flips the door open, the hatch open, and tosses it down in there. But we have found stuff that, there's no indication as to why it would have been thrown down there. So it had to be accidental.
A drop.
Like, yeah, the first privy we ever got into, Tyler, he dug a complete pipe. The mouthpiece was on there and everything. It was totally perfect, and there were no other pieces or anything like that in the privy. So we think that one was probably accidentally dropped. Yeah.
What's your favorite find in a privy? I mean, did you find coins, jewelry, anything like that? Gun?
I was lucky enough to get into a pit with the homeless man, and we dug it together. And I had got there after school. He had started it and got